Hi, and welcome to Running on Carbs Podcast. I am your host, Coach Val, and I'd like to welcome you to episode number 39 of the podcast. Today is a fun episode if you like shopping. So, I tend to like shopping sometimes, but not others. So, around the holidays, though, it can be just another task on our very, very busy to do list. And so today, I want to help you to buy for the runners in your life or yourself if you're just thinking, I think I'd like to pick myself up a little something as I'm out holiday shopping for others. So, today we're going to talk about 5 different categories of gifts that you can buy for the plant based woman runner in your life. And that could be you, it could be someone else. But all of these gifts, they have some wide appeal for the most part. But when I was putting together this list, I was really thinking about that woman who is, the busy woman who has a lot of things, but maybe needs that little extra something special or the new runner. I was also thinking of the new runner who might be starting as an adult onset runner and is looking for the gear that they need to keep them healthy and to keep them on the road and to make their runs more comfortable and enjoyable. So a lot of these gifts are just geared to these types of individuals. So whether that's you or someone you know, hopefully you find something in today's episode that is something you hadn't thought of before. I'm also going to give some brand names throughout the episode, and I just want to give upfront that I don't get any money from any of these brands. I'm not sponsored by anyone. So the brands that I might mention today are simply ones that I have heard of or that I have used myself that I can recommend just based on my own personal experience. So there's that. And the gifts today, they kind of range in price from the very inexpensive to, sometimes they're very expensive. And there's just sort of runs the gamut. So let's get started and jump in and get some shopping done because right now, as of I'm recording this, we are just a couple weeks out, not even a couple weeks from Christmas. So this might be some last minute gift giving for you if you are listening to it this year as the episode comes out in 2024. Or maybe you're coming back to this episode in a later year, 2025, 2026, and trying to pick up some tips and some ideas. I'm sure they're all still very valid in a couple years from today. All right, so let's make those gift lists. All right, so here we go. Number one, the obvious one, running shoes. Now, it can be difficult to buy running shoes for another person. But if you know their size and if you kind of have an idea of what they might like, you could buy some shoes. I would recommend if you buy shoes for someone else, that you make sure that there's a good return policy or exchange policy at the store where you buy them so that if they don't quite fit right or if they want something a little bit different, that they could take that shoe back and exchange it and get something else. So that way you can give them something on the day of the holiday and maybe they can, return it for another color or whatever. It's always nice to have that option. But definitely women who are over 40, we really need to be cautious and careful with what shoes we put on our feet because the shoe is the start of the kinetic chain when it comes to running. You're going to hit the ground with that foot first, and we've got to make sure it's properly cushioned, it's properly stabilized so that once it hits the ground with that ground reaction force that it is not going to cause, a system failure as the energy goes up the leg. So we want to make sure that we have the right shoes. And I think that our bodies are a little less forgiving as we get older when it comes to shoes than when we are younger. I think when we're younger, we can probably get away with some pretty crappy shoes and be okay. But as we get older, a little less leniency in that area. So we really want to make sure that our shoes are proper for the running that we're doing. Um, the so here's some good brands that are very popular that maybe you've thought of, maybe you haven't. If you're new to running, this might be brand new to you. Brooks is a very popular brand. Before I started running, or like when I was a newer runner and I was just starting to shop for shoes, Brooks was the name that I heard over and over and over again, and I still do. It's a very, especially the Brooks Ghost, that seems to be an absolute go-to for a lot of newer runners and a lot of experienced runners too. It just is sort of an all-around workhorse shoe. So if you're looking for a workhorse, I would say start with the Brooks Ghost, see what you think of that shoe. Maybe get that for someone because it is a very popular shoe because I think it fits so many different types of runners. It's just very, um, very compatible. What's the right word? Flexible. I'm missing the word. There's that, like, nearly 50-year-old brain just like, "Poof, by word." I maybe you can relate. So, anyway, Brooks Ghost, great shoe. Um, the next one I would say, from that would be, the Asics Gel Nimbus. I had never really tried the Gel Nimbus up until, fairly recently, but I always saw it, and again, another shoe that when you look around on people's feet at races, they are everywhere. So the Gel Nimbus is such a popular brand, and there's a reason that they're on what number 27 as of the recording of this podcast. They're coming out with rendition number 27. Um, I have the Gel Nimbus 26, and it has been a very comfortable shoe. I did not think that I would like it as much as I actually do because I thought it might be a little too cushioned for me or a little too flat, but I have not found that to be the case at all. So, as a matter of fact, it's been really just right. There is not that speed roll technology like they have in some shoes, especially the next one I'm going to talk about. So there isn't like a rocker in that shoe, but it doesn't matter. It gives a nice, just a nice, comfortable bounce, especially for recovery runs and for long runs. I found it to be a really comfortable shoe. So I would definitely say take a look at the Asics Gel Nimbus as well. The third one I have on my list, which of course there are a bazillion shoe brands, but these are just sort of my top three. Saucony is my number three, and not in order, by the way, just in the order that I put them on the paper. Saucony brand is fantastic. I have run in the endorphin line for a couple of years now, and they've been a fantastic shoe. The Saucony Endorphin Speed is another workhorse shoe. There's a little controversy though about the shoe because there is a nylon plate in the shoe, and for some people, that nylon plate might be a little too rigid and could potentially cause some injury. So you really need to make sure that your body can handle a plate of any kind. You may be better off with a more cushioned shoe with no plate, like the Brooks Ghost or the Asics Nimbus. So maybe try them out and see how you feel. But I have run in the speed for a very long time. I did my full marathon in the speed. I do my half marathons in the speed, except for the last one that I did. And I'll do most of my regular long runs in the speed. So it's just one of those all around workhorse, again, shoes. But if you're really uncertain and you're really unsure about buying shoes for someone else, then a fantastic gift for a runner would be a gift card to a store where they offer a shoe fitting. And that could really be helpful. And then, bonus points go with them to their shoe fitting. I'm sure they would love that if you're able to. But yeah, having a professional shoe fitting is something that I highly recommend. Um, it's usually like a teenager or someone young doing the shoe fitting, but it's not so much the individual, going through the motions and helping you on the treadmill and things like that. That's not really the value of the shoe fitting. The value of the shoe fitting is getting to know your actual shoe size, which you will get from the readings from what they do, and seeing yourself walk on a treadmill or run on a treadmill to see if you have any supination or pronation in your foot and your ankle area, um, and to see if you need a more stable shoe or if you could use a neutral shoe. And so, just having some basic information about your foot is very valuable. And then during that shoe fitting, you spend quite a lot of time in the shoe store just trying on all these different shoes. And then you can get on the treadmill. They usually have a treadmill that you could walk or run on. So when you go to the shoe fitting or take your friend or family member to the shoe fitting, then go ready to run on a treadmill. So don't go in your work clothes or anything. And then that way you could really test out the shoes and find a pair or several pairs that really work for you, your foot, maybe the type of running that you're doing. If you're going to be on trails, then you're going to want to make sure you have a trail shoe. If you're going to be on roads, then you want a good road shoe, et cetera, et cetera. So can't recommend a shoe fitting more than I am recommending them. So get a gift card for that loved one, and then tag along with them uh, to the shoe fitting. Okay, shoes are good. So we got shoes on the list. That's a little more expensive. The next one is sort of you could go expensive or you can go less expensive. But the next thing on the list is cold weather running gear. And that could be anything from, pullovers, tops, jackets. Uh, those are fantastic. Even if you're not in like snowy weather, here in Southern California, people think it's 70 degrees and sunny year round. And I can tell you that during the winter time and even into the springtime, it's not very warm. It's very cold. I think, well, relatively cold, okay? My Midwestern friends and family, don't send me hate notes. No, it is not snowing, and no, it is not like -50. But it is like 40s and 30s, and that's kinda cold to run in. So, most people, I don't think, are out there in their tiny little 3-inch shorts and their tank top in 40-degree weather. At least not if you're in Southern California. So, if you live here, you're likely not running in that too often, unless you're some sort of transplant from a colder area. So let's talk about some thermal tops. So you want something warm, comfortable, sweat wicking for sure. We want a lightweight top that's going to hold in the heat as far as your body heat, but yet let the sweat evaporate. So look for the sweat wicking kind of tops, and they run the gamut as far as designs, colors, brands, etc. Um, they're all over. I can totally vouch for some fleece lined leggings though. So if you're not going to invest heavily in the top, the upper body long sleeve top, and you're just kind of go cheap on that, fine. But oh boy, you will thank me if you buy some fleece lined leggings. They are fantastic. So some mornings here it gets like I said, 30s and 40s in the morning before the sun comes up. And that's really cold for me, at least, to be running in. And so I have a pair of fleece lined leggings. I think I have the bay leaf. I think that's how you pronounce the name. I got them off of Amazon. Um, and they're so comfortable. They're so comfy cozy. And I love them. They're the full length fleece lined leggings, and they are sweat wicking, and yet the way that they're manufactured, they don't let the cold air like breathe, like come through. So when you walk out from a warm house into the cold air, it doesn't just hit you like, jumping into an ice bath. So it's far more comfortable. Those are fantastic. So look for some fleece-lined leggings, and that's something that I think is kind of, if you have a general idea of the individual size, you can probably find that pretty easily. The other thing, if you really don't know someone's size and it's hard to buy them clothing, then another cold weather essential that you can get would be some touchscreen friendly gloves. Oh, gloves have saved my life on so many runs. There's nothing like being out running and having your hands really cold to the point where it's like hurts to bend your fingers. So if you have gloves, it's almost like you can be in a short sleeve shirt as long as your hands are warm. So gloves are just such a lifesaver. And now they have these great gloves that have something on the tips of them so that if you need to use your phone or you want to operate your phone for your music or something or your podcast, then you can still touch the screen and operate your phone without taking your gloves off. Or they have those gloves that have the little tips that fold back, but then you got cold fingers. So I don't like that idea. I'd much rather use a touchscreen glove. So look for those. Those are super cool and very practical gift. The other thing to look at that I didn't actually like list out on my list here, probably doesn't go under cold weather, but is something just going to throw it in there because I thought about it, is as a watch. So if you want to get someone something really nice, then you can find a running watch or a sports watch for them. Uh, I personally love Koros because of their battery life. Oh my gosh, Koros is a fantastic battery. It lasts forever and ever. I think I charge my watch, maybe once every week and a half or so, maybe, right around there. Depends on how often I'm doing it or how long my runs are. But I wear my watch all the time. And I only have to charge it every week and a half or so. When I was wearing my watch, I was using an Apple Watch for my daily life. And then I would only put my Koros watch on for runs or workouts. It would last for months then. So kind of depends on how you use your watch, but my Apple Watch just couldn't survive, battery life-wise, it couldn't survive long runs or races. The battery would run out, too quickly. So I had to switch to something else, specific for workouts and runs. And so that's why I found the Koros because I was so tired of my Apple Watch running out of battery life that I wanted to make sure I didn't have that problem with my next watch. So anyway, Koros is fantastic. Another great brand is Garmin. It's another very popular brand, connects with all the coaching softwares and stuff. So does Koros. Final Surge is my coaching platform, and it now connects with Koros as well. But Final Surge also connects with Garmin, and I think maybe Polar. I'm not 100% sure. I think Polar is not quite as popular as Garmin and Koros, but another very good brand and well known. So anyway, there's another gift option for you there. Little higher price end on that one. But my Koros cost when I purchased it about $200, and I know they can go up from there. You can probably get them a little less, and I know you can get them for a lot more. So there's some watches that are $800,000. Whatever your budget will allow for, if you want to get someone a watch, there's some ranges there. I suppose we could have stuck that under stocking stuffers, which is our next category. That would be a very nice stocking stuffer. I'm sure that whoever you gave that to would be very appreciative. But let's talk about some, lesser price stocking stuffers, which is more common. So, top on my list for stocking stuffers are running sunglasses. I love sunglasses. I don't know, it's just one of those things, they're so collectible. So I tell my son whenever the gift giving holiday comes up and he asks me what I might like, I'm like, I like sunglasses. So I have a lot of them because I keep getting them as gifts. So I'm sharing that with you because if I like getting them as gifts, I'm sure some other people might. But Gooder is my favorite brand because they're always coming out with new designs and colors and styles. They're pretty inexpensive. I think they're somewhere between $25 and $35 for a pair. So as far as sports sunglasses, that's far less expensive than your big name brand sunglasses. So they make a great stocking stuffer for that reason. Another brand that's kind of similar is called Knockaround, and I think they're around the $20 to $25 mark also. And these are US dollars that I'm talking in. Um, but yeah, they're fun to collect. So definitely sunglasses. Another idea might be running headbands or beanies, especially going back to that cold weather running. It's nice to have a beanie. And if you have long hair like I do and you want to put it up in a ponytail, they've got these great beanies now that have a hole in the top for your ponytail. So I haven't tried one yet, but they look kind of fun. So anyway, I've seen those on Amazon. Another great gift. I got this as a gift one year and I love it so much. And that is a Nox Gear light vest. I use it all the time. Every winter, bust that little baby out. But it lights up and it can stay solid or it can, kind of chase the lights. You can put different colors. It's an LED. Um, it's like a LED. How do you describe it? Um, they're LED light strips that make a little vest. So it just kind of goes over your shoulders and then around your sides and your waist. And it has an elastic belt that just sort of snaps in the front, very flexible and adjustable. And then it's got a big light in the back, and then that's where you charge it. So it just charges by USB, and you can turn it on or switch the colors or whatever using the button on the back. And that's it. It's super simple. Just charges with an LED, so no batteries that you have to really worry about, unless that little rechargeable goes out. Actually, I don't even think there is a battery in it. It's just charges. So forget what I said about that. Um, but yeah, super simple, very, very safe though. It's very bright. There is no missing that light vest when you're wearing it. And then, also if they've got these light up reflective, not Knox gear, but other places you can buy these arm bands that will go around your arm. Um, and while you're running, and you're moving your arms, then the lighted arm bands are moving also. So it catches driver's attention because there's a moving light. So the idea, of course, is to be lit and visible to drivers so that they can avoid you and you can avoid them. Um, so anyway, those are my two favorite. And then anything reflective, anything you could buy with some reflection on it. If it's cold in your area or rainy, rain jackets often have some of that reflective silver uh, paint on them so that you can be visible when the light hits. It'll light up and reflect without being weird and shiny when there is no light on you. So I have a rain jacket like that. It's fantastic. The next great little stocking stuffer is reusable water bottles. These are so great, little handheld bottles. You can get them in all sorts of sizes. I have a couple that I like. I have more than one because I like to take a little squishy one. It's a collapsible water bottle, and it just has a little mini zipper pocket on it. And I take that one for like very short runs around the neighborhood, 3 to 4 miles, something like that, where you just want a little sip of water every once in a while, but you're not going to be out there a long time. And then you can get little bigger ones like, 10, 12 ounces, something like that, that are still very manageable, not heavy. Um, they have a nice little strap on them so you can tighten it onto your hand and you don't even really have to grip it. It's just tightened on your hands, so it just kind of stays there. Um, my favorite one has a pocket for my cell phone so that if I have no pockets otherwise, I can use my water bottle holder and put my cell phone in it. And it has a plastic case on the outside, so I can still access my phone through it if I need to. So that one I use for a little bit longer runs than the 3 to 4 miles. So if I'm going to go out for maybe 5 to 7 miles, then I'll probably use my handheld, my bigger handheld. And then if I'm going to go much over that, then I'll use something bigger. But Nathan is a very popular brand, but there's a bunch of other brands too. I think the little one that I've got with the collapsible bottle, they've got other sizes too, but that one is called Amphibipod, I think is what it's called. Oh my gosh, I could be totally butchering that name, but I think I'm close enough. You can probably search it. All right, so the last one I have on my list for stocking stuffers are socks. Stockings, socks. My favorite socks are features, and I gotta say, I went through a lot of trial and error, so if you get blisters like I did, I was having such a problem with blisters, and I thought I was wearing good sports socks, and I was not. So I knew no cotton. So if you don't know that, no cotton. Stay away from cotton if you're a runner. Get the sweat wicking socks. Um, Belega is a good brand, but I have found that I personally prefer features. And again, there's lots of different colors and sizes. There's the like extra cushy ones, and there's the thin ones. Just get what you prefer or what you think your friend or family member might prefer if you are buying gifts for others. All right, next category. Next category is very specific to us lovely ladies over 40, and that is recovery tools. So, recovery gifts, because women over 40 deserve some TLC. So, whether or not you need, extra recovery on those muscles right now, you deserve a little TLC anyway. So, let's get out those massage guns, let's get out those foam rollers, all those wonderful things, those pressure socks for your feet and your calves. Oh, those are so nice. So those are some ideas there. So you've got your massage guns. Of course, those are fantastic for everyday use. Um, they're going to really get into some of those, tight muscles and knots. If you have any type of foot tightness, like plantar fasciitis or anything like that you're dealing with, or some maybe just a flare up, then those foot massages work really well to help break up that scar tissue and get you back on the road. So great use for those. And then foam rollers, of course. I say get one in every color, size, and density that you can. I love foam rollers. Um, and I do have lots of them because each one is useful for something different. Like, those nubby foam rollers are great for like really getting into those knots that you get. And then the classic high density flat foam roller is just great for working out, general muscle soreness, or preparing yourself for a run, and doing some foam rolling before you run, just getting that fascia kind of, blood flow and everything to the muscles and the fascia. And then I've got a medium density foam roller that is not quite so stiff and hard. And those are great for areas like the shin, the ankle, stuff like that. So anyway, lots of variety. There's also like stick foam roller, or not foam rollers, but stick rollers. So it just looks like a little stick with some real little rolly sections and handles. And those are good for shins, calves, back of your hamstring, anywhere you can kind of reach with it, even the bottom of the foot. If you are oh so flexible, you can use them there. So lots of things. And then, of course, don't forget the lacrosse ball. I don't think any runner should be without a lacrosse ball. Lacrosse balls are great because you don't have to play lacrosse. You're not going to be playing lacrosse, don't worry. But if you get any type of tightness under your foot, rolling your foot on a lacrosse ball feels really good again to break up that scar tissue, that fascia, and just sort of relax those muscles down there and tendons. Um, and to stretch the big toe. So if you just kind of put the big toe on the lacrosse ball and put the rest of your foot down, it's a nice good stretch for that tendon that reaches to the big toe. Lacrosse balls are also fantastic for getting into any knot pretty much anywhere in your body. So they're pretty firm though, so go easy on it the first time. But again, that's a good stocking stuffer or just a good recovery tool. Another nice recovery TLC tool is Epsom salt. Classic Epsom salt feels so good at the end of a long run to just soak in a nice Epsom salt bath. You can get them scented, like lavender or something relaxing, or you could just do plain old Epsom salt and just sit and relax and soak in the warm water. Um, Absolutely beautiful. Uh, then another good recovery tool is nutrition. So, as I said, these are some plant-based options or options for plant-based individuals. And so people love their plant-based recovery tools as far as like nutrition. One of my favorite nutrition recovery drinks is Scratch Chocolate Recovery. It's really good. It just tastes like you're drinking a chocolate shake. So after a long run, it absolutely hits the spot. But beyond that, there's lots of yummy plant-based nutrition snacks, things like that. So, if you are looking for plant-based gels and you're not exactly sure what brands might be good for a plant-based person or for a gift, maybe you yourself haven't transitioned fully to plant-based, but you're listening to this episode because you want ideas for your plant-based loved one, then head over to your running store or you can head over to thefeed.com and order some plant-based gels. And I have an episode that I did completely on plant-based gels where I reviewed 9 different gels, all plant-based, and gave my take on them, how they were on my run, how they sat in my stomach, how I felt as far as before and after. So there's a whole episode on that and a handout too. So if you go to episode number 27 of this podcast of Running on Carbs podcast, the title is Vegan Tummy Test. And you can just listen to that episode and get some ideas, or go to the show notes on that episode and download the handout where you could just read about all of them in the handout and go to the store with your little handout and pick your gels. All right, so next category. I think this is my last category. This is personal gifts that really, add some personal touch and meaning. And my first option or gift suggestion on the list is a medal holder. And I can tell you when I started running, I really appreciated receiving this gift. You can, if you're in you or on YouTube, you can see my medal holder behind me, behind the treadmill. And what does mine say? Mine says "Fear no distance," and there's lots of different ones available. With different sayings, or you can have it customized. So there are some options I've seen on Amazon where you can customize it and add someone's name to it. So wouldn't that be such a nice gift to receive? Is a medal holder that has your name on it, or a nice saying that you like to use, maybe a motivational message or something. And there's so many different varieties. There are medal holders that will hold your bibs and your medals. There's, just medals, different shape sizes. They've got little hooks, so they've got little sliders. Oh my. So lots of options. So spend a little time just kind of perusing and shopping and seeing which ones you might like. Another good option for a personal gift would be a subscription to a running app, like for instance, Strava Premium. Um, iFit, which I have for my treadmill, doesn't have to be hooked up to a treadmill. So you can order someone an iFit subscription and they can go to the gym and watch their program and follow along as far as the actual running program is structured, and they can just change it manually on the treadmill themselves. They also have strength plans, strength programs on iFit, so lots of different options. Um, and so beyond that, you could also order or hire a coach for them. So I do coaching. So this is like a shameless plug, but not really, because you don't have to hire me. But if you hire a coach for your loved one or yourself, you can give yourself the gift of coaching so that you can help them to the next level. So maybe they are a new runner and they want to run their first half marathon. And so having someone to coach and teach will help them get to that goal in a safe manner. So if you love your family member and you want to make sure that they are doing things properly and that they will, be helped by coaching, to have that accountability and to have that extra support and knowledge to teach them the ropes as far as workouts and things like that to get them to their first half marathon. Wouldn't that be such a nice gift to give or to receive as well? So gift of coaching. And also, I want to give a quick announcement of a fantastic gift that you could give, and that is my new running journal. So, this is the first time I am announcing that I have published a running journal. It is in print format and it is available on Amazon.com right now. I will put the link to the running journal in the show notes. So if you'd like to go check it out, order a gift for yourself or for a running friend or loved one or two, um, then you can do that. I'm very excited about this running journal. This is actually the journal that I have used for a number of years because when I first started running, I ordered a running journal just off of Amazon. And I'm a big proponent of paper when it comes to running journals. As much as I love my Koros and much as I love my Final Surge, there's a time and a place for the electronic version. But I think that there is a big place for writing things down because when it's electronic, we don't go back to it. And if we do, it's not organized in an easy, referenceable way. So you really got to work for the information if you want to go back in history. Sure, you can look at graphs and things like that, but it doesn't give you, the big overview. You can't just like flip a page and go, how did I feel on this date? Well, how did I feel the next time I did that workout 2 weeks later? Flip, flip, flip. There you go. It's hard to do that when you're looking at it on a screen. There is a value, of course, to the screen, but there's such a big benefit to a paper book where you have written it down. There's also, scientific status knowledge about writing something down. So when you write something down, it's very different than typing it. It's like you have to use more of your senses to write something. So you take it in more. You take more, personal ownership of it in some ways. But you also get more out of it by writing something down. So in my journal, I have made it different than other journals on the market because, like I started to say, when I bought my first couple running journals that were books, there wasn't enough room to write all of the things that I wanted to notate. And it didn't cover all of the categories of things that were important to me as a plant-based runner. So for example, it might have this tiny little line for like food or pre-workout meal. And it's like, I don't know, an inch line. I'm like, I'm sorry, but that is not sufficient to document my breakfast. I am a runner. That is not sufficient. So I developed a book for myself that I have used over the years and realized that, you know, I need to put this together in a way that can help other people because if I'm having this frustration with the running journals that are out there on the market with just simply not enough space, they don't have the categories for tracking the things that are important to me as a runner and me as a coach as well, then I'm sure there's frustration for other runners too, who want to keep track of these things in an organized way, in a nice looking, journal that is easy to carry around, not some massive, 3-ring binder or something, and it's not in some electronic black hole. So, if that's important to you too, I highly encourage that you go check out the Amazon link and share it with a runner friend of yours as well. I would so appreciate that. And I hope you get a lot out of it. And if you do buy the book, please leave me a review on Amazon and uh, and and let me know how it works for you. I would really love to hear that. All right. So that is my show for you today. I hope you got a lot out of it, some ideas for yourself, for a loved one, for a runner friend. Um, but spread the running love through the holiday season and enjoy that. I hope you have a very happy holiday season. Um, and I think if you get some of these gifts on this list, you'll be extra happy. But anyway, if you have enjoyed today's episode, I would love it, love it, love it if you would simply like or subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform that you're listening to. Um, and if you got something out of it, that please leave a review as well. And otherwise, don't forget to check the show notes for that Amazon link. It'll be there. And I hope you have a great holiday season. And in the meantime, go and run your best life on carbs. I am Coach Val. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you will join me next week for next week's episode. One comes out every Thursday, and so I hope to see you then. Have a good one. Take care.